Have you ever wondered how to make the perfect bread at home? Crispy on the outside, soft and fluffy on the inside? Well, wonder no more. Today, we're diving into the delightful world of bread making. First things first, gather your ingredients. You will need 4 basic elements: flour, water, yeast, and salt. The type of flour you choose can drastically change the texture and flavor of your bread. For a classic loaf, go for bread flour. Next, it's time to wake up the yeast. Combine warm water and yeast in a bowl, stirring until the yeast dissolves. The water should be warm but not hot. Too hot, and you run the risk of killing the yeast. Too cold, and it won't activate. While the yeast is waking up, mix your flour and salt together in a separate bowl. Once the yeast has had about 5 minutes and is looking a bit foamy, it's time to introduce it to the flour. Pour the yeast water mixture into the flour, stirring as you go. Now comes the fun part, kneading. Turn your dough out onto a floured surface and use the heel of your hand to push the dough away from you, then fold it back over itself. Repeat this process for about 10 minutes until the dough is smooth and elastic. After kneading, place the dough in a greased bowl, cover it with a damp cloth, and let it rise. This process, known as proofing, allows the yeast to work its magic, turning the dough into a fluffy, airy mass. Once the dough has doubled in size, usually after 1 to 2 hours, punch it down to release the gas bubbles created by the yeast. Then, shape your dough into a loaf and place it in a greased loaf pan. Cover the pan and let it rise again until it's about 1 inch above the rim of the pan. While your dough is having its second rise, preheat your oven. The high heat will give your bread a golden, crispy crust. When your bread has finished its second rise, it's time to bake. Slide your loaf into the preheated oven and bake until it's golden brown and sounds hollow when tapped on the bottom. Finally, the hardest part of the whole process, waiting for the bread to cool before slicing into it. But trust us, it's worth the wait. So to sum it up, gather your ingredients, dissolve your yeast, mix your dough, knead, proof, punch down, shape, rise again, bake, and cool. Follow these steps, and you'll have a loaf of bread that's not only delicious, but also a testament to your baking prowess. So what are you waiting for? Your perfect homemade bread awaits.